Welcome to Nifty 50 Photographers, and in today's video I'm going to tell you about a technique that will really help you to ensure that your photographs are always in focus and pin sharp. You know how frustrating it can be when you come back and look at your photos and find they're all slightly out of focus, or alternatively the camera's automatically focused on something else in your frame and not the main subject that you wanted to capture. Now with this technique I can guarantee you'll get round that. What is it? It's a technique called back button focus. Now it's a technique that a lot of professional photographers will use all the time because they want to guarantee they've always got that focus point. It takes a little bit of practice, but the first thing you need to do is set your camera up to back button focus, and in just a minute I'm going to show you how to do that on a Sony A7 III. But what is back button focus? Well, normally when you take a picture, as you press the shutter halfway down, then your camera focuses on the subject, and according to what focus mode you've got set. If you don't know anything about focus modes, then you need to watch this video. I'll put a link up here. Now with back button focus, what you're going to do is you're going to use one of the buttons on the back of your camera to trigger the camera to focus instead of when you press the shutter. So what you're going to have to do is turn off that function of focusing with the shutter button. I'll show you how to do that for the Sony A7 III in just a moment. And if you've got a different make or model of camera, I would suggest you just go and Google how to set back button focus for your make and model, and you'll find another YouTube video or a set of instructions online telling you how to do that. Now, if you're new to this channel, I'm Richard Gill. I'm a professional photographer, and on here I provide some tips and tricks on how to help you take better photos. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. So how do we set back button focus? Right, well I'm going to do it on my camera now. So on the Sony A7 III, what you need to do is you need to go into that into the menu system, and you start in the first set of menus, and you go to menu number 6. So on menu number 6 at the bottom there is this menu function that says AF W with without shutter, and you need to set that to off. Now when you've done that, you need to set another button that you're going to use to trigger the camera to focus, and the one I choose is this little what they call this joystick, this multi-selector joystick. The reason I choose that is because that's the button that you use to move your focus point around when you're tracking a subject, and you use that little joystick to move that focus point. So it means I can use the same button that I'm using to track my subject, and I just need to press it in to get it to focus. So it's a very efficient way of using it. I don't need to use two buttons. And the way I do that is then to go into the second set of menus on the back of the camera here, and I need to now go to, I think it's menu number 8, yeah, and you'll see 3 custom keys, and it's the one at the top which has got the little picture of an image. You go into that, and then you need to go into the second set of menus there. There's 3 menus for the custom keys. And in the second one at the top you'll see the multi-selector center button, and I choose that, and I then scroll through the menus to the third AF3, and you get AF on, and I select that. Now your camera is set to do that, so when you're out in the field now you can line up your subject and press on that button to get it to focus when you've got your focus point where you want. And we'll go outside now and put that into practice. Okay, come outside. I'm going to try and take some pictures of Obi. Got a nice background behind me there with a nice arch, so I want to try and get him sort of running towards me. And I'll film it in video format so you can see what I'm tracking as my subject. In actual fact, I'll probably take some shots in portrait format because it suits that much better. But let's see how we would put our back button focus into practice. But first of all, I need to get Obi further up the pathway, so I think probably if I take a treat or two, that'll do the trick. Right, now hopefully I can get in position, and as he's running towards me I can take my shot. So I'm going to throw a biscuit up the pathway, let him go and find it. My camera is set to a focus spot and I'm going to track him as he comes back so he's in focus. You can also use it to pre-focus on a point you know your subject is going to walk into. So your camera's now pre-focused on that. As soon as the subject hits that point, you can take the shot. Oops. Now when you're shooting animals, one of the tips I can give you is it's best if you get down to their eye level. That's why I'm wearing my waterproofs today. It's been raining overnight and I want to get right down and shoot him. I hope you found that to be a really useful technique. Now remember, it's one of those things you need to practice. It does take a little bit of time for your brain to kick in, and remember, it's got to press another button. It's not the shutter button that's going to cause the focus. But the good thing about that is when you have pressed that button, the camera is focused on what you want it to focus on. It's not going to refocus when you press the shutter, and that's the thing that usually causes the problems, the camera refocusing on something else that you didn't want it to. So go out there, try it a few times, get into the habit of using it, and I think you'll find that useful. Why not share some of your photos in the Nifty 50 Photographers Facebook group? I'll put a link to that in my description. If you're looking for some other great tips, I do have a free ebook you can download, 50 tips to help you take better photos. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. And if you have enjoyed this video, please do remember to give it a like, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.